Hello guys, my name is Ankit Gupta and today we will see qualitative analysis of social media and in particular what is sentiment analysis. Sentiment analysis is the classification of a given text to determine whether the expressed opinion in the text is positive, negative or neutral. The question is, why do we need sentiment analysis? Well, sentiment analysis helps us in a lot of manner. For example, the opinion of the mass matters. So every company wants to know how the people feel about their products. Every political party would want to know how the people feel about their recent propaganda, whether they are aligned with it or not. Sentiment analysis is becoming more and more important. So let us see at some of the best architectures available for sentiment analysis right now. Of all the models available for sentiment analysis, one of the most promising one is the sentiment tree bank, developed by Stanford PhD student Richard Schaker. So he developed a computer model which can classify a sentiment of a sentence 85% of the time. For this, he doesn't only focus on single words but on the entirety of the sentences. For this, he included fine grade sentiment labels for 2,15,154 phrases in the parse trees of 11,855 sentences. So, what they did was they took 11,000 sentences from online movie reviews and then broke them into 2 lakhs phrases, and then through the Amazon mechanical trunk and human workers, they classified each phrase on a scale from very negative to very positive. Random phrases were shown, and annotators had a slider for selecting the sentiment and its degree, as is shown. With so many well labeled phrases, they were able to create what was one of the best model for sentiment analysis. Now let's look at an example. See, when you are dealing with text like movie reviews that contain linguistic inferences, scholars feel that you need a model that can really understand how words play off each other to alter the meaning of the sentences. The order in which they come and what connects them matters a lot. A simple example of what soccer means would be a sentence like, there are slow and repetitive parts, but it was just enough spice to keep it interesting. Usually, he said, what comes after but dominates what comes before the but. And that's something a model focusing on a single words or even single phrases might not be able to pick up. The team then built a new model it calls a recursive neural tensor network. It's an evolution of existing models called recursive neural networks, which is what actually processes all the words and phrases to create a numeric representation of them and calculate how they interact with one another. Then let us look at the implementation part. For our implementation, we are going to use a web app with MeanStack and Python programming. So, following are the steps involved in Twitter sentiment analysis by passing the tweets fetched from Twitter. First of all, we need to install the required package. In order to fetch tweets from the Twitter API, one needs to register an app through their Twitter account. So, you need to authorize Twitter API client. Make a GET request to the Twitter API to fetch the tweets for a particular query. Pass the tweets, classify them as positive, negative, or neutral, and collect the results to see what is the general opinion regarding the same. So let us briefly look at what is the MeanStack. In MeanStack, first comes the MongoDB. MongoDB is a NoSQL database which works on a concept of collection and document. It allows us to maintain JSON-like structures where we store our data. Then we have Express. Express is a web application framework for Node.js. It allows us to perform RESTful APIs and communicate between Angular, Python server, and our Node.js. Now we have Angular. We are using Angular 5, which is a TypeScript-based front-end web application platform. It is used in making single-page applications. Then we have Node.js. Node.js is a cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment that executes JavaScript code server-side. And finally, we have Flask. It is required so that we can run our sentiment analysis script. We will see it when we will be seeing the demo. So let's look at the Python programming part. For Python programming, the major packages we are using are RE, that is regular expression. This module provides regular expression matching operations. This is being majorly used in pre-processing of tweets. Then we have Tweepy. Tweepy is an open source library hosted in GitHub and enables Python to communicate with Twitter platform and use its API. Then we have Auth Handler. Auth Handler enables a third party to obtain limited access to an HTTP service. And then we have TextBlob. It is a Python library for processing textual data. It provides simple API for diving into common natural language processing tasks such as part of speech, tagging, noun phrase extension, sentiment analysis, classification, translation, and more. Now look at how we are going to use each of these packages. First of all, we have Tweepy. What we need to do is register our client application with Twitter, create a new application, create an access token. There are two key pairs. One is the consumer's key secret and one is access token secret. So the access token can be used to make API requests on your account's behalf. Consumer key secret helps Twitter identify the app and access token helps Twitter identify the user, that is you. Now let's go further. So while attempting authentication, we use our consumer key and consumer secret and access token and access token secret. So we need to create an OAuth handler object, set access token and secret, create Tweepy API object to fetch the tweets. Then for fetching the tweets, we create a Twitter client class. This class contains all the methods to interact with the Twitter API and passing the tweets. After we have fetched the tweets, the next step is to pre-process the data. Pre-processing task is an important step in sentiment analysis. It is used to remove irrelevant parts from the data as well as to transform the text to facilitate its analysis. Let's look at the major advantages of doing pre-processing. Usually, the text found in the internet has much noise such as HTML tags, scripts, and advertisements. Data preprocessing can reduce noise in the text and improve the performance and accuracy of classification. Often sentiment analysis and opinion mining is performed on text from social networks and other user-generated contents, and that are characterized by very informal language with grammar and lexicon that greatly differs from the usual language we use, especially in Twitter. Such text need to be transformed into a more grammatically accurate and more suitable for processing by natural language analysis tools. Tokenization is used to break the text down into words and symbols. Sentences splitting is used to determine sentence boundaries. Stop words are common words in the given language that do not carry important meaning. Their removal usually improves performance of a sentiment analysis, such as the, an, in. And stemming is a task used to transform words into their root form. For example, the word working is changed to its root form, work. Now let's look at TextBlob. Now TextBlob is a Python 2 and 3 library for processing textual data. You can treat TextBlob objects as if they are Python strings that learned how to do natural language processing. It provides a consistent API for diving into common natural language processing tasks such as part of speech tagging, noun phrase extraction, sentiment analysis, and much more. It also helps in word inflection and lemmatization. For example, the spaces word will be singularized to space. Octopi will be lemmatized to octopus. Now, the written text can be broadly classified into two types: facts and opinions. Opinion carry people's sentiment, appraisal, and feeling towards a word. The pattern.en module bundles a lexicon of adjectives, example good, bad, amazing, irritating, that occur frequently in the product reviews, annotated with scores for sentiment polarity. The sentiment function returns a tuple for given sentence based on its adjectives, where polarity is a value between 1 to -1 and subjectivity between 0 to 1. The default implementation is pattern analyzer, but you can override the analyzer by passing another implementation into a text block constructor. The sentiment property returns a named tuple of the form sentiment. The Natural Language Toolkit, or more commonly NLTK, is a suite of libraries and programs for symbolic and statistical natural language processing for English written in Python programming language, which is being used here. Okay, so let's look at our project. First of all, we have a client folder. In this folder resides all the Angular code, which helps us build the front-end part. Now, in this, we have an src folder in which we have index.html. This is the main file that is rendered and where all our front-end code is available. Now, we have models. In models, we have the schema for Mongoose, which is basically providing us with Mongo database connection. So we are following this schema, so all the data that is stored is in this format. Now, in our Python folder, we have two files. One is for the Python Flask server, which enables us to run Python script and allows us communication between Node and Python. And secondly, we have sentiment analysis file, which is our main Python file, which allows us to do sentiment analysis. Now we have routes.js. This file is basically the express file, which allows us to perform RESTful APIs. And then we have app.js. This file is the main Node.js part where all the connections are integrated together. And then we have package.json file, which has all the dependencies that we require. Either they are the main dependencies that everyone will need, or the their dependencies that the developers will need. So let's start the execution. First of all, we need to start our Flask server. So just wait. And while our Flask server is running, let's go ahead and start our Angular service as well. So for Angular, and the third one is we need to start our Node server. So for that, Node app.js, and now we wait for them to start. As we can see, the Flask server is started. ng-server will take some time, and our Node server is started at port 3000 and it's connected to our MongoDB database. So once our ng-server starts, we can see our project. Okay. So our ng service is also running. So let's go ahead and see our application. Localhost 42,000, 4200, and go ahead. So our app is being loaded, and here are some of the previous searches that we did. One was for Alexa. So this was the result we got for Alexa, and for Facebook. So now let's go ahead and search for a new query. So Google Assistant is getting popular these days. So let's see what's the opinion of the people regarding that. Now we start the search. As soon as we started the search, we can see that in Node we got the query Google Assistant, and it is then passed on to Flask server. Now the Flask server received the query Google Assistant. It has successfully authenticated with the Twitter and now is fetching the tweets. Now as soon as the tweets are fetched, it's processed, and after that it returns it back to the node. And now node returns our output to Angular. So we will be able to see it over here. So here is the result for Google Assistant. So the most of the reviews are positive. Here we can see that these are the positive reviews, or you can see the positive tweets that we get. Here are some of the negative ones and the neutral ones. So you can come back again and you don't need to go ahead and type again, the query again and again. Here we are maintaining the list of all our searches in MongoDB database. So let's refresh, and this is the recent query that we just searched for. So in this way we have a complete mean application which is helping us with Python to give us a complete Twitter sentiment analysis web app. Thanks for bearing with me. Now the code for the same is available down below. Also, for any queries, you can comment down here. Thanks a lot and have a great day.